Whether we're talking about the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica, Rosie the Robot from the Jetsons, Bender from Futurama, or Transformers, people love robots. Which is why I wanted this one, but none of those are my favorite robot. We'll talk more about my favorite robot later on in this review. Hey YouTube, what goes on? And welcome back to Disavowed Action Figures. Tonight, bringing you another action figure review, taking a close look at the new Marvel Legends Rom SPACEKNIGHT in this new, retro carded comic book themed little comic book accessory era we've now entered into. So yeah, I have no real, personal connection to Rom the SPACEKNIGHT. Never read a comic. I really never owned a toy of him, but he's a robot. And you know what? I don't collect Transformers. I talk a lot about that here on the channel, but I love me a good robot. And when I saw this, it triggered this really strange memory from the 90s. Yeah, there was a little Disavowed, 12 years old, something like that, watching probably MTV or VH1, I don't know, whatever the hell it was. And I see this amazing music video, and there's this amazing dancing robot that to this day, for some reason, connects in my brain. And when I saw this, I was like, I remember seeing that dancing robot in that music video. I need Rom the SPACEKNIGHT. So we'll get to that fond memory, and I'll show you a little clip later on. But here we got Rom SPACEKNIGHT. This was in stock on the GameStop website of all places. So I ordered it right away, paid the extra, whatever it was, $6 shipping. And then I rolled to my local GameStop today, and lo and behold, there's Rom at the freaking GameStop. And this was on my porch about 20 minutes before I saw it there. So needless to say, paid a little extra because of the shipping to get this, but it is currently hitting GameStop stores should you want this. I've not seen any of the other figures yet. However, I know they were in stock over at CMD store in Canada. I don't know how the whole tariff thing's working out with bringing things in from Canada, so be careful if you're ordering from Canada right now till that gets all sorted out. But this looks cool. I'm very interested to get this thing out of the packaging. I love how it looks. I love how they do have the cross-sell right on there for you to see all the other figures in that particular wave. I'll probably get Banshee. The rest of them, I don't know. We'll kind of see as it goes what I'm going to do there. There you got your little write-up on who Rom is. I'm not going to get into the history of Rom. Apparently it's a very interesting dynamic regarding Hasbro and his ownership of the character and Marvel and their ownership of the character. And I don't know. Apparently they can now use Rom, and they won a court case a couple of years ago. I don't know. Look it up on YouTube. That's what YouTube's for. But I'm excited to get this thing out of the packaging. I've talked about it enough. You got to go look at it right here already. So in these reviews, what we do is we pop it out of the packaging. We look at it, the aesthetics. We move it around a little bit. And we do what I do in all these videos, which is compare it to other Marvel Legends and other action figure lines. Also, if you're new, thanks for watching. If you would, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I thank you for clicking on this video. Let's get Rom out of the packaging. And really quickly, before I even do that, just wanted to point out, I dig what they're doing here. I guess on each of them, they're going to have their own little insignia here, like a comic book. I think that's pretty cool. Number 1, Marvel Legends. I'm guessing this character or the figure originally was debuted in 1979. Let me know in the comments. I can't imagine why else they would do that. But yeah, it's kind of cool. And then again, you get this kind of raised up part of the bubble right here where the comic book goes. It's going to give you the illusion of a stack of comic books, comic accessory, Rom. Let's do it. And here is Rom the SPACEKNIGHT out of the packaging, and I messed around with it for maybe a minute and a half after I busted out of the packaging. This is awesome. I really think this is the cool action figure. Again, I have no connection to Rom at all, so this is kind of me just getting hands on an action figure, and you wouldn't even know it's a Marvel Legend, to be perfectly honest. If you had no knowledge of who Rom was, anything like that, you just saw this on a table somewhere. I think you'd just be honest and be like, that's a really cool looking action figure. It's a cool looking robot. This can get plugged in almost anything, I feel like, in a collection. So we'll take a closer look at it momentarily here. Close look at the accessories. We'll move it around. And again, we'll do some comparisons with this figure as well. But just first impressions. I've opened a lot of Marvel Legends, of course, in my day, being a Legends collector. This figure just is awesome. I don't know why. I just love this thing. I don't know why. I just do. Okay, so starting off by looking at the accessories, let's get this out of the way. Here's the comic book, okay? So again, I think it's a cool idea, I guess, but I'd really rather get a Build-A-Figure wave. So I just feel like they're trying to find different ways to include things with these figures other than Build-A-Figure pieces, right? Because it's probably cheaper. So again, this doesn't open or anything. It's just a piece of plastic. Again, this is, I guess, whatever, decent looking. It is very detailed. Again, very small writing on this thing. They can do a lot of cool things nowadays with this stuff. But overall, again, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. At the end of the day, I really don't know. I'd rather get a Build-A-Figure piece, just like with the shields, with the Secret Wars. I guess that made sense because it was a gimmick they did when those first came out. But otherwise, moving on from that, we do get 2 guns. Smaller one, bigger one. I guess these have certain names. I'm not going to go into all that stuff because I don't care. But here's a smaller gun. I guess it has a certain use to it. To ROM in the comics. Here's the bigger looking gun. Again, very similar. It's a different, a little bit bigger of a gun right there. The cool thing is they do give you this built-in like blast effect piece that will click right on and key on there. So again, giving it more of like a playability, or whatever you want to say. So that's kind of nice. And that does go onto both guns. I can show you really quickly here in case you don't trust me. So there you go. That's kind of neat. So kind of nice to get 2 of these. Again, then you can have both guns being shot or whatever at the same time, but they didn't do that, whatever. And then we do get alternate hands, of course. So putting that here, we do get an alternate fist hand right here. Only 1 fist comes with this, so you can see there's not a fist on there, so it's that 1 fist. And then we also do get another gun-holding hand, which is one gun-holding hand that does come default on him. Also nice to see they did think ahead and make both gun-holding hands have up and down articulation, whereas the other hands, like the fist, do have the left and right articulation. So again, decent accessories for this. Wouldn't have minded, again, having that extra blast effect, but we got what we got. So take a close look at Rom himself. So as I was saying, this looks great. I really think this looks cool. The eyes just jump out at me right away as being very cool. Those red eyes going on right there. We use some red right here as well on the chest piece. The articulation is going to be cool on this. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Also, we get this really kind of chrome paint going on right here. It looks a lot like the original Walgreens Silver Surfer to me, or I think one of the Ultrons, a very similar paint job as well. On the back, we get the backpack. Very nice going on right here with the mold. I think it's kind of cool. Again, I do not know what the purpose is of this backpack or the hoses. I just think it looks cool. More red back here. I guess he's meant to fly. Does he fly in the comics? I don't know. But he gets some red underneath here as well on the blasters. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Some nice texturing going on. I mean, it looks like a robot. It looks like, and it strikes me as like one of those older robots, like you'd see in one of those like really old kind of cheesy movies where robots, come from outer space. That's kind of what it strikes me as, and that's why I like it. And it is Rom the Space Knight, so I'm guessing that is, of course, par for the course, which you would expect, but it looks cool. It looks really nice when you get this thing in hand. All right, so messing around with articulation right away. What I like about the head is, obviously, we'll go all the way around, but they do have like extra articulation here in the neck. Again, I'm not a big articulation guy. I don't think these things are made. There's better reviewers of that stuff, but I think it's really cool that it doesn't just, do stuff here at the head. It seems like there's extra articulation going here in the neck. So you can really get it to go far to each side, which, again, is cool to me because you can kind of have it emote a little bit more as a robot. It will look down about that far. It will look up further than I thought it would, given the way it's set up right there. Shoulder will go all the way around. Of course, there's a little bit here encumbered because of that piece. Goes up far to the side right there. You have the upper bicep cut going on right there. Double jointed, pinless elbow. I talked about the hands already. They go all the way around. And again, the gun holding hands are up and down articulation. The punching hand and this hand are left and right articulation. You do have the thigh cut, but they kind of hit it behind the boot, similar to what they did with Titania. So you get articulation going on right there. You do get double jointed, pinless knee, kicks himself, not quite in the butt, but pretty close. Coming back right down here, no boot cut or anything like that. Foot will go down about that far. Foot will go up very far, actually. It's also on a rocker. It'll kick forward about that far right there. It'll kick back very not much at all, to be perfectly honest. Splits right there. If you see the splits for the robot doing a split. I also like what they did here. So you do get some really good articulation going on back behind this piece right here. So you can get that going all the way around in a circle. It will not go back very far at all because of the backpack, but just using just that articulation, he'll look down very far. And then you also get the articulation down here, so he'll go really far down when you're using both of those pieces if you wanted to. There's no waist cut going on because of all this extra going on right here, so it does do a lot for articulation, which again is pretty cool. And the nice thing is, since he does fly, you can get him in a pose where he does kind of look like his head's up while he's flying through the air. So articulation on this thing, I'm good with it, man. I think they did a pretty good job articulating this Space Knight. So it turns out I don't have many robots in my collection, but to compare it to a couple other Hasbro robots, here is the JOE classified Bat. Is it Omega Sentinel Karina? I can't think of her name. From the House of X Powers of 10 Marvel Legends wave. And then, of course, the Sentinel from the Hasbro Pulse, I think it was, exclusive 2-pack. So, again, this bat's a big, chunky figure for the most part. So is the Sentinel. You can see here that Rom is actually, out of all these, the tallest. And there was one other robot that I did have, being Ultron. Held off for this comparison since he's chromed out. So you do get the chromed out looking Rom the Space Knight. Here's the Walgreens exclusive Silver Surfer. And, of course, the, as mentioned, Ultron. And these look really cool together. Again, considering that kind of chrome look that they all have. Hasbro, you know what? I'm giving you a big thumbs up. I'm digging this a lot. And if you're curious to see Rom as compared to some other newer Marvel Legends style bucks, here is the Captain America from the Secret War wave. Here is the new Punisher from that 2-pack. And here is the Danny Rand Iron Fist that came in the Luke Cage 2-pack. And you can see Rom definitely much taller than all these more standard used bucks. And here is Rom the Space Knight as compared to some different sized female Marvel Legends. Here is the Target exclusive Warbird Carol Danvers, the Iron Man retro carded She-Hulk, and the Secret Wars Titania figure. And you can see She-Hulk is bigger than Rom, but he's still maybe about the same height, a little taller than Titania, and obviously dwarfs Warbird. And here is Rom as compared to some non-Hasbro action figures. Here is the Ultimate Alf NECA. Here is the Chun-Li from the Jada Street Fighters. And here is the John Constantine from Mezco Toys. And a few other random action figure lines. Here is the Mario Brothers movie Super Mario right there. Here is the Trigger from the Valaverse Action Force line. And the Jakks Pacific's Bart Simpson. Love those Simpsons figures. Where's my Mo? Here's Rom as compared to the DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys Big Bad Mother Fragger Lobo. And last, and as everybody loves to say, certainly not least, here is the new Marvel Legends Rom the Space Knight as compared to the AEW Jazzwares Orange Cassidy. So clothing thoughts on this Marvel Legends action figure. I'm digging Rom the Space Knight. And if you notice throughout the video, I kind of peppered in who the best robot of all time is. Yes, my favorite personal robot. Literally, I'm not even kidding. The whole reason I wanted this, because I thought of that robot, is the awesome dancing robot from the music video, The Dip. Gotta love it. Classic robot. Little robot guy dancing around, having fun. Almost as much fun as I had with this action figure. Is it essential? No, of course not. Nothing's essential. But I have a lot of fun with this thing. It looks really cool. And again, it can be from any line. If you put this on your shelf, it can represent so many different things. I want to see somebody try to customize it into a bender from Futurama. I don't know, something cool. But I'm happy to have it in my collection. No buyer's remorse whatsoever. I think it's cool. The comic book thing, take it or leave it, whatever. I'm probably never going to use that. Notice I didn't even use it in the video as a prop for him to hold. I don't care. But thanks for watching, everybody. If you're new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It is free for you, does not cost you anything, and it helps us grow the channel tremendously in the march to 7,000 subscribers. While you're at it, go ahead and click that bell for notifications, because that way YouTube should notify and tell you when we post new content here to the channel, like our weekly toy hunts, reviews, and live streams. Leave a comment down below, hit that like button, and for daily toy content and daily toy updates, try checking us out over at Instagram at Disavowed_12. Hey everybody, if you're going toy hunting this week, please try to remember the 3 P's of the toy hunt: patience, persistence, but most of all, politeness. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing all of you at the pegs.